So well, so as I said, today we are going to see about cloud computing and AWS demonstration. So myself, I am Praveen Tiwari from NINT representing. So a brief intro about myself before diving into the technology concepts. So myself, I'm Praveen Tiwari. Have pursued my Master of Computer Applications, and I have a 7+ years of experience in Linux administration and 3+ years of experience in AWS services. So currently, I'm working as a cloud subject matter expert as an SME with controllers data centers in Hyderabad, which is based in. And I'm always passionate about sharing my knowledge and learning and diving into the evolution of technology. So I'm always reachable. You can always hit me at pravintiwari.techtrainer@gmail.com. If you have any queries regarding the DevOps or if you have any queries regarding the AWS, please do not hesitate to reach me out at this my email ID. So guys, RJ, can you able to hear me right now properly? I hope like everyone can able to hear me without any disturbance. Yep, that's good. So please, guys, please cooperate with me throughout this session. I just want your help to keep mute yourself. If you have any questions, please ping me in the chat window. That would be helpful for me, and it will be also helpful for all the attendees of this session. So this is all about NINT. So we are basically based in Chennai. We are ISO certified organization, and we always ensure our customer satisfaction. So most of our training programs are offered in two formats. One it would be a instructor-led classroom, and one it would be through over to the internet. So we always ensure to have a qualified technical team so that it will be more helpful by making a success to all the students of our institute. So we always derive the strength from the curriculum pattern delivery methodology. Like we will be following a different kind of methodology to always reach our customers' expectations. That is nothing but your expectations. So this is all about agenda, which we are going to take a look about. Like what is cloud computing? What is cloud computing architecture? So what are all these fundamental cloud services? What are the deployment models? And a brief introduction to Amazon Web Services. So what is the cloud computing? So everyone would be hearing about this in the market. Like everyone is switching on from physical to the cloud setup. Everyone is talking about this cloud computing nowadays. Wherever we go, we hear more about this cloud computing. So talking about the cloud computing, so it's something like it has been a more buzzword rather than I can say like if you see right now in the market, like everyone is switching on from their physical setup to the cloud computing architectures, or they're talking about like they're building about applications on the cloud computing. So here we have to understand basically like what we are doing over here. So like why we need to learn about cloud computing. So cloud computing is becoming an acceleration in adoption of on adoption of the cloud services. So even like Gartner reports like it is one of the top five technology trends in IT industry. Guys, I like hope if you were aware about this Gartner. So Gartner is nothing but like they would deliver technology research to global technology business leaders to make informed decisions on key initiatives. Like for example, like which is good in the market, which is going drastically down in the market, and what and all the percentage like of applications the end users are using. So these all information like it will provide. So that's what we have to hear about this cloud computing is not. I just want to give a basic example like what this cloud computing is. So I would say like let's take a best example of electricity services. So what happens in this electricity services? So you might be using any of the electrical appliance in your home. At your home, it might be your refrigerator, or it might be your any washing machine, or it might be your air conditioner or television or any Xbox player or any DVD player or anything it might be. So if we talk about these kind of electricity services, so simply what we are doing over here, we are just simply plugging into the vast electrical grid, and then which is managed by the experts to get a low cost, reliable power supply which is available to you with much greater efficiency than you could generate on your own. So here we're talking about a power. It's nothing but, so power is nothing but it's a utility service which is available to you on demand, and you pay for what you're going to use. It's very pretty bit simple. Like for example, as I said, like whatever the electrical appliances do you have in your home, you're going to pay only the electrical bill or current bill for the devices which you're going to use. You're not going to bother about like other devices which are not going to which you are not using it. So here the important concept I would like you to make understand is like of electrical services, like power is a utility service which is available to you on demand, and you pay only for what you use. So similarly in the cloud computing concept, I can say like cloud computing is a utility service which gives you access to technology resources managed by experts, and it will be available always on demand. So I would rather say like you can simply access these services over the internet with no upfront cost, and you pay only for the resources what you use. So that is the major important thing of this cloud computing. So if anyone asks you like what are all the services and how do you manage these services, then you can simply say like you can simply access these services over the internet with no upfront cost, and you pay only for the resources what you use. And then so simply to make it in a keep it in a simple manner, I can say the definition of like cloud computing is like, so cloud computing is nothing but it's a delivery model of all the computing services over the internet, which enables real-time development or deployment and delivery of broad range of products or services and solutions. So cloud services are nothing but they are services and solutions that are delivered and consumed in real time over the internet, which is to be called as your cloud services. I can give you a best example. Let's say like for example, if you want to store your photos in online, so generally what do? You'll use your webmail, or you'll use your any social networking site. So that the thing which you're using over the social network site, or you're using any webmail, so these all are your cloud computing services, I can say. So ensure that what and all the services which you're using over the internet is everything is a cloud services. The best example which I just said you, like if you want to store your photos online, you can use your webmail or social networking site, which nothing but you're using a cloud computing service. So that's it all about like a cloud computing service, guys. Like so this is what like we can call it as. And what are the attributes of this cloud computing? So what happens generally, like in the if for example, if any smartphone comes into the market, so you would be seeing or you would be focusing on the features of the smartphone, like what and all the best features it have, like camera, or what and all the the glass cornering comes in with the device, or what is the RAM that the company is providing, or what how the service would be of your smartphone vendor. So everything, these all things you would be think about before buying any product. So you have to make sure like you're buying a good product, and you also should have get a satisfaction that okay, this is the good product which I brought from the market. So everything we always look at the best for any of the product or any of the service which we are going to get from any vendor. So similarly here, the people why they are running for the cloud computing and what are the attributes of this cloud computing is nothing but they're having more benefits over here. So the main attributes of the cloud computing, I can say like the first thing, no capital expenditure. You no need to expend, you no need to keep in total expenditure at an initial point of thing. You don't need to you don't need to mention like for example you need to pay this much, you need to pay that much. There would be no limit on that. So there is, I can say like there is no capital expenditure, and then you can pay as you go, and you can pay only for what you use. So if I'm going to use A and B services, then I'm going to pay only for what I'm using A and B. I don't need to pay for the rest of the C, D, E, and F services and all. So just I'm going to pay. So that's what we say like pay as you go model. And so that's what we say like it's a pay as you go model, and we'll pay only for what you use. So and it's a true elastic capacity. We can scale up and scale down the servers whenever you require. So if let's say for example, if you have a two or three servers, and when the load increases on your web servers, or it might be your database server, then if you want to spin your servers, And so basically, you can spin up your servers whenever you need. And if the load automatically drastically decreases, then if you want to scale down the servers, then you can do it in a very easyable and very flexible manner. So that's what I can say. Like, it's a true elastic capacity, and it's meaning like you can scale up and scale down your servers. So you also get to focus your engineering resources on what differentiate you versus managing your undifferentiated infrastructure resources. So here, by using this cloud computing technology, you no need to bother about the infra resources which you are no need to which you no need to use on your daily basis or day-to-day tasks. So you are going to focus only on the things which you are going to use. You are only going to pay for only the resources you are using it. You are not going to bother about the resources which you are not using it. So that's what here we say, like, it's a pay as you go model, and you pay only for what you use. I think it's pretty clear to all of you. Like, so what is the cloud computing, and why should we go for the cloud computing, and what are the attributes of the cloud computing? I would also want to give a small examples over here, like why the people in the market or in any organizations are preferring to move from physical setup to the cloud setup. The major reasons are, like, for example, let me give it two small scenarios. The first scenario, so let's say, like, if you are having a physical setup of all the servers, if you are having around some 5 to 10 servers in your physical setup, the customer is very happy that you're doing very good at your service management level and infrastructure management level. The customer comes and say, like, tomorrow, that the end users at the website at their customer end are increasing day to day, and the website performance is getting impacted. So the customer wants us to build around 150 to 200 servers for their customer environment. If we want to build 150 to 200 servers in in a physical environment, just think about it, guys. It is very really difficult to build those 150 to 200 servers in less span of time, because the challenges what we have over here is, the first thing, you need to get a hardware license. You need to contact the software vendor support, and you also need to get a OS license, and also you need to get and also you need to plan a network architecture for it, and also you need to ensure, like, all the servers are placed in a proper network, and you also ensure about their security level for all the servers, and also you need to ensure, like, how many end users are using going to use this application, and also you need to ensure about, like, what is the memory and computerized memory, or what is the RAM which you are providing for it, and what is the storage you are providing for it. So everything, these and all things will be difficult for you to make an inventory list. I mean, like, analysis, planning, and getting this inventory list, and trying to implement it. It becomes a very hectic task to build this 150 to 200 VMs or physical machines at a very less span of time. But if you take an example of cloud computing over here, if you're using any AWS web services, or if you're using any Microsoft Azure, or if you're using any Google Cloud, or if you're using any HP Cloud services, or IBM Boomix, or any of the cloud computing service providers, what you can do is you can build these applications in very less amount of time and very less ample amount of time, I can say. Like, for example, if you take an example of AWS web services, if the same scenario, I want to build like 150 to 200 VMs or 150 to 200 machines in my cloud computing network, if I'm taking an example of AWS web services, I can build this 150 to 200 services just in a span of 3 to 4 hours, not less than 3 to 4 hours. So minimum I can build this 3 to 150 to 200 servers in just a span of 3 to 4 hours, with all the with environment, with all the things. So everything which will be in my single environment. So I'll be getting a bundle from the AWS web services. So I can get a compute, I can get a storage, I can get a memory, I can get a network, I can get a firewall, I can get a security level. So everything I would be getting in a single web interface, that is from AWS web interfaces, web services. So that's what I can say. The first scenario, like, it would be very easy for you to implement in cloud computing rather than a physical setup. And the second scenario, let me take, like, for example, if there is any fault tolerance, like, say for example, your database master server on the physical setup has gone down. So what happens? So basically, you'll be looking out for any backup which is available to restore your server to a normal state. And if accidentally, for example, if you do not have a backup, then it's really worse condition. We need to look out for any disaster recovery server. If we have a disaster recovery server, then we try to build an image from the DR server, and we try to build a master database server. And we also need to check like how the connectivity is from the outside and inside, through in and out, how the packets are moving or not from in and out. Everything we need to check after making this server stabilize. So really hardly it may take for the physical server. If it goes down in a database master, obviously it would be an impact for the websites or production customer, whoever it might be. So it will take around at least a 2 hours to 3 hours to stabilize the server and to make it into a normal state. But if it comes to an cloud computing, if my database server goes down, I would be having many copies over availability in the other regions, through which I can make a clone and I can just launch an instance within 3 to 5 minutes. So within 5 to 10 minutes, the server will be up and running fine in the cloud computing concept by using AWS web services. So that's what, guys. You don't need to have any major challenges. You can come overcome this all the challenges by using the cloud computing technologies. It might be your AWS web services or Microsoft Azure or any of the cloud servicing providers. So which makes your work easy, and it also reduces your complexity. So I hope like everyone is clear about like what is this cloud computing and why we are going for cloud computing.
Hello.
Yep. Hello.
Yeah, sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah. No problem. Tell me.
Yeah, actually, how will create 150, 120 within the 20 to 30 minutes by creating any scripts or how it is in AWS?
So in AWS Web Services, we do have a concept of a cloud formation, AWS cloud formation, and we do also have a format like we can use the functionality called Lambda, AWS Lambda. So using this functionality, what we can do is basically we can write a script over for it, like to build this 100 to 150 servers, and it's just like everything will be ready over there. Like if you want Windows machines, if you want Red Hat Linux machine, or if you want SUSE Linux machine, or whatever the image OS machine you want, everything will be ready inbuilt in the AWS. So it makes our work very easy. You don't need to go and download any package or ISO package for it. Already an application machine image will be available. So using just that AMI, you're just building your servers. So here we just try to need to write a code over there, either for AWS. If you want to use AWS Cloud Formation, then probably you can write a code to build these servers. Then your servers will be built in less span of time. So basically, one instance, if you can launch 10 instances or 15 instances at a time, which only takes you guys only maximum it will take around you like 5 minutes to build 10 instances. So it all depends like how the functionality which you're using. We can either go with AWS Lambda, as I said, or you can go with AWS Cloud Formation. If you want to go with AWS Lambda, basically we should know about JSON scripting. So using this JSON scripting, we can build these servers. Or else, if you want to go with AWS Cloud Formation, you can probably use any of the scripting language, and we can build the servers over here by using that through code. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes, fine. This is possible to through using Salesforce also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worry, I have a question myself, Arun. Do we not have a template kind of a concept on AWS where you have a template and you just create a number of
Yes, exactly.
machines in?
That's what I would meant it here as application. Sorry, Amazon Machine Image (AMI). AMI is nothing but it's a template. So we
Okay,
do have we
and
do have all templates over here. Like whether you want a Red Hat OS or you want a Windows OS, or you don't need to run anywhere to get the ISO image. Already, like Amazon Machine Image will be available, which comes up with. various services. You don't need to install the services separately as well, which comes up with all the with the few services like your Apache or Samba or HTTPD, or it might be your Python package. So everything comes up inbuilt with the server.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I do have a
Hello.
question
Uh,
from Kaushik Sajan Agarwal. Can we, using any cloud computing, create physical like servers? What I mean is, can we access the servers through putty? Can we access database hosted in it as per our requirements? Is it live? Yeah. Yeah, Kaushik and Harish. So these basically servers, what we are building through AWS is nothing but it's the same servers, but the difference is like it's not a physical servers. There would be a virtual cloud servers. So basically, when you build a machine on VM, you call it as a VM machine, right? So the same concept we call it as. So what and all the machines, what and all the servers which you are building through AWS used to be called as virtual machines, basically, or virtual boxes. And these servers can be accessed through Putty. Yes, we can able to access it. Yes, we can also build. You can also build database servers. You can also build web servers. You can also build any NFS servers, or you can also build any FTP servers. So all different kinds of servers you can also build over here in this AWS web services. Is coding mandatory to learn AWS? No, it's not mandatory for this. I would say like if there are DevOps guys who are looking for the coding applications and all, so for them the coding is necessary. But I would say like if you want to build any servers, a bunch of servers at any time, then probably you should have a basic scripting knowledge like shell scripting, or it might be your Python scripting or whatever. So basic knowledge also helps you to learn this methodology of building the servers through the code. I'm looking at the course on cloud security.
Hello.
Will AWS still work for me? Yes, Arun. It all obviously helps you on the security part as well. We do have different types of security tools over here available in the AWS web services. So the network IP will be provided by the cloud computing service provider, or our own network IP need to be used. So here it depends. Like if you are taking in a public network, then probably they would be providing it. And if you want to define any public private network for your servers, then probably we should request for an IP address range for the cloud computing. I mean, for the cloud service vendor, that is AWS Web Services. Then they would be providing that series of IPs for your network machines. So the next thing I just want to discuss about like this cloud computing architecture, which is important to understand. So in the cloud computing architecture, here we discuss about like we do have three models, that is IaaS and PaaS and SaaS. So these types of cloud computing, what is the necessary of having these three services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service? So if you want to build this, then we have like, as I said, like cloud computing is providing developers, or it might be your IT departments, with ability to focus on what matters most, and they avoid undifferentiated work like any kind of like, for example, your procurement activities or maintenance activities or any capacity planning activities. These kind of activities it will avoid over here. So each type of the cloud service available over here, like either it may be IaaS or SaaS or PaaS, it helps you to provide you with different levels of control, flexibility, and management. So understanding these differences between IaaS, SaaS, PaaS helps you to understand what deployment strategies you can use, and it also helps you to decide what set of services is right for your needs. So before proceeding this, I see a question from Palab. If we want a custom image to deploy, then how it will be? Okay. So if you want to build any custom image over there, then probably, as I said, like we should have our own account for AWS Web Services to use, or it might be your organization account. So probably what we need to do is we need to upload our customized image to the AWS Web Services. By uploading over there, then you can use it over there. I mean, like you can deploy it wherever you want. So hope that answered my question, Pallab. So let's move further. So as I said, like for IaaS, like IaaS will be providing a capacity for rent, basically for your hosting your data center and servers. So if you want, for example, if you want to host your some 10 to 15 servers on your any of your on your data center, any of the data center, so what you will be doing? You will be contacting your service provider. So it might be your AT&T, or it might be your AWS, or it might be your any of the service provider. You're just hosting your machines on their space. So here IaaS is offering, that's why we say like here IaaS is offering capacity for the rent. Basically, it might be your hosted data center or your hosted servers. So here infrastructure as a service contains the building block for your cloud IT infrastructure, and it provides access to hardware features or computer. It might be a virtual or dedicated hardware, and also it also provides a data storage space. So IaaS provides an highest level of flexibility and management control over your IT resources. So let's say examples, you can take it as like your AT&T, or it might be your rack space hosting, or it might be your Amazon Web Services or HP Cloud Services. This all comes under infrastructure as a service. So that's it, guys, about infrastructure as a service. So if anyone asks you like what it is, just you can say like it is just a containing it just contains a building block for your infrastructure, and it will provide access to all of the things like hardware features or computer or data storage space, your compute, your network, your rented space. Everything you're getting in a bundle of platform. So in a single platform, you're getting all these services as a bundle. So that's what I can say, like it is a infrastructure as a service. So let's move to this platform as a service. So platform as a service is nothing but I have a question from Sai. Hosting can be done on your cloud. Yes, we can do it on a cloud as well. If you want to host your websites, probably like for the websites, most of the people will be going for any AT&T, or they might be going for any, if they want to register any websites, they might be going for GoDaddy kind of service providers. And I see a question from Raja, who is the best service provider for IaaS in the market? So for IaaS, I would say like most of the organizations, if you see currently in the market, AWS stands first, and the second place will be taken by Microsoft Azure. So the first is AWS Web Services, and the second is Microsoft Azure, and then comes the rest of the service providers. It might be your Google Cloud, or it might be your IBM Boomix, or HP Cloud Services, or your Rackspace hosting, or your OpenStack. Anything, it would be coming after this. So the first and second place stands for AWS Web Services and Microsoft Azure. So these both are competitors in the cloud computing market. So that's what here. So a platform as a service, I would say like it's a hosted application environment for deploying or developing your cloud-based applications. So this platform as a service will remove the need for the organizations to manage the underlying infrastructure. So in platform as a service, you no need to worry about your underlying infrastructure of your operating system or hardware, any kind of thing. It just allows you to focus on the deployment and management of your applications. So by using this PaaS, you also no need to worry about your capacity planning, like your software maintenance or your patching or any kind of activities no need to worry about. So in a platform as a service, just you're using the tools in the platform as a service to deploy your applications, or to develop your applications, or to design your applications. We are using this platform as a service. So here you no need to worry about your capacity planning or software maintenance or patching, any kind of activities. So example, you can take it as like your Windows Azure instance, your Amazon EC2 instance, or your Google App Engine. Everything comes under as a platform as a service. So I see a question from Raja, how we are deciding either by cost or by service. Here, like in AWS Web Services, I would say like everything is costed, everything is charged on hourly basis. If you're using any service, if you have used it for 1 hour 45 minutes and you have stopped that service, and if you have stopped the service by using the, so it will only, Amazon will charge only for the 1 hour which you have used. If you have used the same service for 2 hours 5 minutes, then it will charge you only for the 2 hours which you used. So in Amazon concept for AWS, so what are all the services which you are using, like for an hourly basis, the AWS will be charging you. So I see a question from Arun, like, can you explain how IaaS infrastructure is? So IaaS infrastructure is nothing but like I would be probably showing you an Amazon AWS console if time permits for me, or else you can mail me your email ID so that I would be sending you the how this IaaS infrastructure looks like, because I need to cover this concepts as well with the DevOps. So it's a little bit time taking for me. So basically, I want to just to people to understand is IA is nothing but it's a single platform where you get all kind of services in a single platform. You will be getting a computing environment, you will be getting a storage environment, you will be getting a network storage, or everything you'll be getting in a single kind of interface. So that's what we call it as a infrastructure as a resource. And I would say a question like, may I know the difference between the server virtualization and cloud infrastructure services? So virtualization like is nothing but your VM box where you can only launch your VM machines and where you can take any snapshots of your VM machines when you're doing any patching activity or when you're doing any reboot of your VM machines. You can't do any other kind of things over there, rest of the things on the VM machines. But whereas comparing to the AWS cloud services, here we do have a bundle of services. I could say like many number of services. You'd be having around like 150 plus services you'd be having in this AWS web services, which will be useful for with the different functionalities. So that's what I wanted to say about like a platform as a service. And then coming to the software as a service, software as a service, I can say it as nothing but it's your it just provides you with a completed product that is run and managed by the service provider. Let's say like you no need to think about like how the service is maintained or how underlying infrastructure is managed. It just provides you, it's a software as a service is nothing but it's an application provided by the service provider. So it's a most known and first service of the cloud computing. When the cloud computing has started, the first service developed in the cloud computing is nothing but your software as a service. So in the software as a service, you don't need to, as I said, like you don't need to worry about like how the service is maintained or what is the underlying infrastructure of this of this product. Let's say, for example, you can take your webmail, whether it might be your Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or Rediff, whatever it might be. So, what you'd be doing by using these applications? You're just using these applications to send or receive an email, or to just use, or just to save your files or images in your Google Drive or Hotmail Drive, any of the thing. So, the similar thing I would like to say is like that is the best example where you can say about when you're talking about the software as a service. So here we can see a few examples in the software as a service like your salesforce.com, your Windows Live Google, your SAP applications. So you're just using these applications as an end user. That's it. You're just using this to for some purpose we are using these applications. That's it. We are no need to worry about like what is the underlying infrastructure of it, how we are managing these services. We don't need to worry about these challenges. I'll say a question from Arun. IaaS is still physical box. Sitting somewhere in some data center. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, Arun. So IaaS also it's nothing but like you are keeping your servers in the environment. Is nothing but it's all your if you're keeping some machines in your regions. Region is nothing but your I mean, if you're keeping any servers in your any availability zone of your region, the availability zone is nothing but your physical data center. So AWS is having around like 50,000 servers per each data center. So it depends on like how many regions it have and how many data centers it have. So here, that's what I can say it as like it's just your servers are basically hosted on the data center in the AWS. So that's what I like to conclude about this IAS, PAS, and SAS.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I have small query.
Yeah,
Actually, I don't have any scripting knowledge.
okay.
Is this DevOps and AWS used for file finance or how
Mhm.
it is?
So I could say like the prerequisites to learn this AWS and DevOps is basically you should have a Linux basics administration knowledge, so that because most of the servers which you work with AWS It might be your Linux administration servers, where you should have an basic administration knowledge of Linux, like how to check any CPU load, or how to check any memory kind of issue, or how to move the files from one place to another, and how to reduce the load on your machine.
Just
So these and all
basic
things.
kind of commands I know, but I don't have scripting knowledge.
So the scripting kind of
It's
thing, like I would say, like it's completely 100%. It's not a mandatory thing, but I would say like learning the scripting is very important, because when you're doing any DevOps course, it is quite important, because most of the tools we use in the DevOps are related to the scripting. So it might be your shell scripting, or it might be a Ruby scripting or Python scripting. I'm not asking you to learn completely all the scripting languages. At least be thorough with any of the two scripting languages, whether it might be your shell scripting, or it might be your Python or Ruby. Pick any two scripting languages and be proficient in it, so that it would be helpful for managing your automation tools in the DevOps. And whereas comparing to the AWS, I would say like even if you're good in shell scripting, you can build your code. I mean, you can build your infrastructure as a code using these AWS web services by associating your code with, as I said, like AWS Lambda. You have a functionality, and you'd have a AWS Cloud Formation. You can associate with these kind of functionalities, and you can build your servers. So it's a scenario based. That's what it's like. Not mandatory that you should be to become an AWS administrator, or to manage AWS SysOps administrator. It's not mandatory that you should have a scripting knowledge. But in some scenarios, if we want to, let's say, like for example, if you want to build any 200 servers at a time, or 300 servers at a time, how can we do it by just doing it manually through hand to hand work? So that's why we are building a code. That's why we call it as a scripting. So we are building a code to manage our infrastructure. So that's what we call as a infrastructure as a code.
is it mandatory for any two scripts, right? For before learning AWS and DevOps.
Yeah, it is good if you learn any two of the scripting languages. I would say more preferably you can go for shell scripting and Python scripting. That would be more helpful for any of your managing any automation tool, or managing your AWS web services as well. So that's what here you can see the complete window, like over here, like how the fundamental of the cloud computing services looks like. So in IaaS, like as I said, like you can build a virtual machine which comes up with virtual storage and virtual network, and you can do kind of activities over here, like you can do lifecycle management, or user management, or configuration management, or you can apply your lifecycle policies. Everything you can do over here in infrastructure as a service. And whereas in a PaaS, as I said, like platform as a service, you can use this you can use it for any of the applications, whether it might be your as I said in past, like you're just going to only think about how you're designing your application or developing your application. So when I'm saying an application, it might be anything. It might be related to your security identity, or it might be related to your database, or it might be related to your user interface services. Anything it might be. And when coming to SaaS, as I said, like these are the applications which are provided by the service provider. We are just using it for our purpose. That's it. So I see a question from Raja. Can you please provide more in about EC2 bus pass? So the reason why we are calling as a platform as AWS EC2 instance as a PaaS is because here we are using an instance to build the server. So that's what we call it as a platform as a service. So we are designing so we are designing an application, or we are building an application. So that's what we here mention it as a platform as a service. So that's what just a clear picture to you, like how most of the IAS users, they might be network architects, or guys. If you see I have any resound, then just mute yourself. One second. So that's what here we discussed about IaaS and PaaS. As I said, like application developers or software engineers, they would be using this platform as a service, and software as a service. As the end users, we will be using this software as a service. Like, see a question from Arun. ServiceNow is cloud based, so will it be a SaaS or will it be a PaaS? So ServiceNow is a kind of tool. Just I think it's a ticketing tool. I'm not sure about like what this tool is. Arun should. So you can ping me in the chat like whether it is any ticketing tool or it might be your any application tool kind of thing. So as per my understanding, this service now is a tool. It's all incident management tools. So obviously, it's your software as a service. It doesn't comes under your platform as a service. So I see a question from Raja Raj Singh. Can you please tell more on IaaS? Guys, IaaS is all about like how you are managing your infrastructure in a single environment. So in a single environment, you're getting a virtual machine with network, with storage, with memory, with security platform, with firewall. So with all the things you're getting in a single bunch of platform. So there we call it as an infrastructure as a service. So that's what I took an
With
example of
OS,
your AWS Web Services or Microsoft Azure or anything it might be.
with OS will be coming under IaaS, right?
Sorry,
OS will be coming under IaaS, right?
you mean the
Infrastructure
operating
as a
system?
service. Yes, yes,
Are you referring to the operating system?
yes, yes. That's
Yeah,
my point.
yes, yes,
Yes. PaaS is
so,
like developing the applications.
yeah, developing the applications or designing the applications.
SaaS is like yes, SaaS is like software engineer.
Yeah. So
Deploying these applications are deployed that SaaS software.
yes. So guys,
Thank you.
please cooperate with me. I'm running out of time. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me. So I need also to cover this DevOps session as well, including this. So please cooperate with me. If you have any questions, just ping on. Or if you don't get any response from my end, please do not hesitate to send those queries to my email ID. I would be getting back to you as soon as possible. So this and all, I just like to show like how this cloud computing user perspectives looks like. So whether it might be your IaaS, whether it might be your PaaS, or whether it might be your SaaS. So everyone have their own best benefits. All the SaaS, IaaS, PS are secure to run your either your infrastructure or to either to run your software or to use it any software solutions only as an end user. Everything has its own benefits and everything is secure. So generally this is what it looks like. So the combination of SaaS and PaaS and IaaS. And this deployment models just I like to make you understand like we have two different models like public cloud and private cloud. Like a public cloud is nothing but it can be shared, it can be used by a multiple number of users or multiple tenants on a shared basis system, and it is hosted and managed as I said like both the public cloud or private cloud. It can be managed by your cloud service provider, and both have its own both will offer like high efficiency or availability or elastic capacity or anything. Hi guys, is there any noise nuisance from my end? Or is it my voice breaking? Or is it like okay for everyone? You can just ping in over the chat window. I see a RJ is pinging like voice breaking. Still you
Yes,
feel
your
like,
voice is
how about now? Yep, how about now?
yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, sure, thank you. So that's what a public cloud and private cloud. So basically, a simple example I can say, like for example, the private cloud is for only for the organizations or only for the people who want to use their infrastructure uh, specifically for their employees. Let's say, for example, if you have an organization where they want to where they want to give access to applications where they can give only this access, restricted access only to the employees to access their financial applications or any of their portal applications, whatever it might be related to the organization. So basically it will be accessible only from the office network. It won't be accessible from your public network. So in these kind of applications, what they would do is basically private organizations, they would like to build their applications only on their private cloud so that it won't be accessible to the public by the people. So in this way they are going to restrict it. And this private cloud also, if you see the cost variation, the data which you are sending, the simple concept over here is the data which you are sending through public cloud is costly than comparing to your private cloud. If you are sending the same data through private cloud, it charges you very less than comparing to the public cloud. And the creator control and security, you would have more for the private cloud. You can design your security level as per your wish and as per your requirement, whereas for the public cloud you should follow the same nominees. I mean, you should follow the same nominals which AWS service will provide you. So top coming to the top cloud infrastructure service providers. So these and all are the basic service providers which we have in the market. If you see in the current market, the AWS Web Services stands first, and then comes then it is followed by with Microsoft Amazon, Microsoft Azure services. Then the rest of the service providers comes in following, whether it might be your IBM Boomix or Google Cloud or Salesforce, or it might be your HP Cloud services, whatever it comes next. So the first and second is Amazon, Microsoft, which are the top cloud infrastructure providers right now in the market. So why is this Amazon Web Services? Why the people are going for this AWS Web Services? As I said, like as the cloud computing is growing, most of the people are choosing any of the cloud service providers. So why the people mostly are going with this AWS is AWS Web Services are sometimes are also called as the cloud services or your remote computing services. So AWS first they have launched their services in somewhere around some 2006, and later on they have started providing more online services for the websites and client-side applications and servers to manage their infrastructure, everything. So I can say like Amazon Web Services is a comprehensive cloud computing platform provided by Amazon.com, where you can build your websites, where you can build your servers, database servers, you can host your applications, you can host your sites, you can build your security applications, you can build your network related servers, anything you can build over there. So as we'll be having an various different images available, whether it might be your Windows or Red Hat or Fedora or SUSE or any networking tool or any security firewall, anything I can do. Let me say one simple example. Let's say like if you are going for a physical setup. So if you want to plan everything, if you want to build some 150 to 200 servers, then initially you would be planning in a manner like you should keep a complete cost estimation, and you need to pay off the amount at a go. You need to, for example, if it is happening some around $150,000 for you to all to build these servers and to get all the inventory, licenses, and all the things, you're paying at a time $150,000 at a time to build the physical setup. So what happens in in this setup is like, let's say like for example, after a few weeks, you feel like the resource utilization is not even getting wasted, and the memory utilization is not more, CPU utilization is not more on the servers. So what and all you have spent on your physical server setup, it has gone everything to the wastage, because you have spent around $150,000 to get all your high CPU and utilizations, or get your high end processors or high end memory or RAM or whatever you spend on physical setup, it has gone completely wasted, as there is no resource utilization on your CPUs or memory. So if this the same happens if it is the Amazon cloud, what we can do over here is, when if you require the servers, you're going to build it, and if you don't want it on the on specific time, you're just going to suspend it. So we will be the servers only will be getting charged only if it runs. If it is suspended or if it is paused state, then you're not going to get charged. But in physical setup, you can't do in this manner. So here basically the cost optimization comes into the picture. You can reduce the cost by managing your servers on the cloud, and you can pick the services whatever you want, and you can deny the services which you are not required. You're giving only importance to the resources depending on your servers, or by managing your infrastructure. You're giving importance only to the services which are required for your infrastructure. You're not going to worry about the rest of the services or servers. So let's say a clear here example of like there's an Wall Street app. Let's say like or it is on Amazon EC2, and we have built around like 3,000 instances, 3,000 CPUs for it. And you can see on Saturdays and Sundays like 300 CPUs are getting wasted because you see the resource utilization, it's completely down. But whereas on the weekdays it is high, where on the weekends it is very low. So in these cases, what you can probably do is you can probably stop these servers or suspend these servers for 2 or 3 days. You can automate it actually. So what happens is on the weekends it will get scaled down, and on the weekday when it starts on Monday again it will scale up. So in this way, we can also reduce the cost which you are keeping upon your servers. I see a question from Kaushik. What is EC2? EC2, I would say like it's an elastic cloud computing. You can take example of your laptop, or you can take example of your computer. Is nothing but your EC2 instance. So generally it is an EC2 server we call it as, but just for your understanding, I can say it as like it might be your laptop or it might be your computer or desktop. So this is a best scalable example which I can give on Amazon Web Services. Let's say like most number of users are using Facebook application. Many people are using Facebook application on day-to-day basis. So they are also Facebook companies also like they are providing end-to-end features. They are developing new design patterns. They are developing their application with new inbuilt features or with various designs. So what happens? Have you ever seen like any Facebook.com website is going down? To be very frank, guys, in my career, I have never seen Facebook.com website going down or any performance related issue with this Facebook.com. But generally, what it happens is like if even when like there would be a million number of users who will be using this Facebook as end users. So the instances, the count of this way scaling will increasing from day to day. If any new feature comes in to any Facebook, it would be getting advertised in a way to all those million users across the all the million users over the world. So all the million users jump in to use that feature or to use that particular application or to use that any particular new feature raised by the Facebook. So what happens at the time is the load increases on the Facebook. Obviously, when all the number of people start working at the same thing, obviously the load gets increases. So when the load is getting increased, even the load is getting increased, you don't see any performance issue on the Facebook website. The reason is they would be launching at a peak time of thing, they would be launching around like 5,000 instances in 3 days. In 3 days, guys, they would be building around like 5,000 instances if they require, as if they see like if the users are increasing, and later on if they see like the users got decreased drastically, maybe it might be out of business hours or it might be in business hours. So again, they would be scaling down these servers. So that's what here we talked about. Like, so this is what generally AWS gives you a high availability and fault tolerant region. As I earlier said, like if your any physical database server goes down and you see like you don't have any backup, then it is really difficult for you if you don't have any backup and if you don't have any disaster recovery method. So if you see like your backups are getting so in a physical setup, then it's very difficult to handle the situation and build up that server again with a proper restore point. So whereas coming to the AWS end, here the backups are available in different regions. Let's say for example your instance was built in east region, you can also keep these backups in any other regions as well, like West region or US region or any of the regions. And whereas fault tolerance, I can say like even your first, for example, let's say like if you're having three web servers, let's say like even your one of the web server goes down, you'd be having a two web servers, and you'd be using those two web servers to scale whenever the load increases. So this is what your AWS global infrastructure looks like. So whatever the orange points you see, orange dotted points are your regions and number of availability zones. And the green ones, which you can see, it is nothing but your new regions which are coming up on day to day, or so everything like AWS is increasing its services, its features, and its regions as well. So in India also, like recently they have launched AWS Global Infrastructure Region in Mumbai. We have started a Mumbai DC with AWS Web Services. In future, like we are going to get it in probably in Bangalore as well, Bangalore and Chennai. So these are the regions which, when I say like availability zone is nothing but your physical data center. Whenever I'm calling it as availability zone, just understand it as a physical data center. So in one region, we might have any number of data centers. Like say, for example, if I say US East 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. So this East 1A, East 1B, East 1C, East 1D are four physical data centers. I see a question from Sunil. How much data in AWS is secured? You can secure TB of data or petabyte of data, or how much amount of the data you have. You can secure it in a proper manner. You do not have any difficulties in securing this. And I see question from Prikesh, what if I need to increase server size? Can we do it without easily without any problem? Prikesh, in physical setup, if you want to build any size, if you want to increase any size, you can't do without any having any downtime, especially on your root or on production systems. But whereas in AWS, I can increase my server size without having a downtime of even 1%.
Where is located main data center for AWS?
You're talking about in India or you're talking about in other regions?
Wherever in India and outside
We do have in
countries.
various countries. It's not mentioned like it's in this place, it's not in that place. So it's AWS has chosen few places for locating their regions. I mean, to keeping their regions over there, and keeping placing their availability zones over there. So here you can see like AWS government cloud. So any idea like what is this AWS government cloud is? AWS government cloud is for the people, for the military services, for which for the US military services, AWS has designed this AWS government cloud for the military service of the US military services. So basically, AWS started from the US region. So they started hosting on the US region first, and then they later they came on to the UK, and they covered Singapore, Sydney, and Ireland, and every region they have covered almost. And they started on India also as well. Like they have started with Mumbai data center. So I see a question from in the Singapore region has more availability than Virginia region, right? Some services won't be available in Virginia, isn't it? There would be few things. I would say like it is not 99% it happens. It depends upon on your infrastructure. How do you maintain it, and how do you scale it? Depending on it, we can scale up our services. So generally, the purpose of building in different regions is the organizations who build their who keep their infrastructure in London, then they can maintain the cloud. They can maintain their servers in the cloud. So in the cloud in the UK region, so that they can reduce the latency over here. So this is what like AWS web design like. Whoever have the questions related to the AWS web services, you can see over here. I can use all the number of applications or all the number of foundation services, all the number of application services, all the number of management tools over here. Like foundation services, I can use EC2 instances to storage my data. I can use my S3 container for the block storage of your volumes. You can use EBS for routing the data to any of the servers on your web servers. You can use ELB. Route 53 is nothing but your DNS server, and RDS and DynamoDB. These all are the databases which I can use in the AWS, and application services like CloudFront you can use, and you can use these are the messaging services or networking services. I see a question from Arumugam and Dinakar, like how AWS is compatible with Kubernetes. I'll get back to you on this, Arumugam. Like, let me complete this. So I will get back to you. So you can also use your libraries and your scripting applications, like it might be your Java application or PHP application or Ruby application or any kind of applications you can see over here. And as the management tools, you can see your billing information, like how much it is getting costed on your AWS web services. You can see the billing dashboard, and you can also see like what is the India identity access management. Identity access management is nothing but uh, your generally your Active Directory in your Windows operating system. So this and all will be provided in this AWS.
Yes, is there any chance to using the other language to build the applications into the AWS cloud?
I mean, like what kind of applications?
Yeah, we can build right. Whereas in Salesforce we have a call center and sales
So
customer like that.
let's say for example, if you want to build any of your PHP dynamic websites, okay. So if I want to build any PHP websites, then probably I can use the PHP application which is already available in my AWS web services.
As of my knowledge, in Salesforce, using the Apex language to develop the applications using the Salesforce cloud.
Okay.
Whereas in AWS having any other languages to developing applications like
Yeah, that's what I
present
showed here, right? Like, so if you see this pattern, like probably the last one, like here you
from
can see, yes, you can see, you can use .NET, you can use Python, you can use Android coding, you can use Ruby scripting, you can use PHP, you can use iOS. These are all things you can use to build an application.
what I'm asking in Salesforce cloud using the Apex and Visual Force for presentation and developing the purpose using the Apex language separate for the Salesforce.
Okay.
Is there any other languages to use to develop that applications into the AWS cloud? That's what I'm asking.
So here, like I would say, like here, what and all the inbuilt services or inbuilt languages which AWS is providing, that only we can use it. So they have shown you, right, this PHP, Java, that and all, that only we can use it. So these using these languages only we can do anything to build your application. Rather than other than these things, we cannot customize it.
Is there
My
any
question is
customization in AWS?
I'm sorry.
Is there any customization option in AWS?
Customization option for what? To building the server or to building any customized image or to building any customized application?
Yeah, application. I'm asking.
Yeah, you can build it. See, when you are having an EC2 instance on your hand, you can apply any of the coding on your machine.
uh, I have a question about certificate.
Okay.
Like AWS certified architect, associate, and professional. Only two exams, right?
Okay, yeah. So here I
So
would like to say like in AWS certifications we do have associate certification and professional certifications, and in association we do have a solution architect, we do have DevOps, we do have SysOps administration. So DevOps is for only for the I mean like if the people who are interested in developing the code, building the code, and if they're interested in the tools like continuous integration and continuous management, those kind of tools, they can show their knowledge on it and they can go with DevOps. And if the people are want to go with system administrators as AWS system administrators or cloud administrators, then they can probably prefer with sysops administration. And if they want to become a cloud architect or SME or anything, then they would prefer for AWS solution architect certification. So basically we should complete an associate certification, then only we can go for the professional certification.
means means
Yes, those
like
are
architect associate, architect associate, and then sysops. I have to do it, or how it will be?
It depends. Like if you want to manage the system administration part, then you can basically go for sysops.
SysOps. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to become an architect and if you want to manage all of the AWS web services from your hand, then you can probably go for solution architect.
Okay. Solution architect associate and then professional, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I see a
Certificates
question
are
from
mandatory.
Arun. What is the prerequisite for a company to move on to cloud in terms of IaaS? So it's nothing but like there are two ways. Like even you can migrate your physical instances to the cloud, and the second thing is if they want to build a new servers in your cloud environment, they can also do in that manner. So we have two options over here. Either you can migrate your physical servers to the cloud, or either you can build a new setup in your cloud environment. So compared to this AWS session, I would like to go quickly with DevOps session as well. I do not want to make it miss for you guys. So let me start it quickly and go to it. So when we say DevOps, it's a combination, it's completely a combination of development and operations. So here the purpose of having this collaboration is to avoid the conflicts between the development and operations. Because like majorly what are the challenges in the IT organizations is like development people will be focusing only on the code. They don't worry about the infrastructure, and whereas coming to the operation people, they only worry about the infrastructure which they have built or on which the applications are running. They don't worry about the code of the application. So here they are getting in conflicts between the developers guys and operation guys. So to avoid these conflicts, they have started this concept of DevOps. That is nothing but your development operations. So why we are going for DevOps? So basically the DevOps is completely is automating your environment. You are using your automation tools so that you can reduce the complexity of time, or you can also reduce the complexity in building your applications, and you can also maintain it in a proper manner without any hiccups. And you can also predict a high success rate on using these automation tools rather than using rather than doing it manually and committing human error mistakes. So that's what I can say. Like are the major the features which we can say why we have to go for DevOps. That is your efficiency, your predictability, and reproducibility and maintainability. So what is this DevOps? As I said, like it's a combination effort from your developers and testers and IT operations. So basically, what happens is when customer comes in with a requirement, like if they want to build any application with some coding, so developers will find out like what code they have to use, and they build it and they will test it. And for the testing purpose, they'll send it to the testing team. Testing team will perform the testing with various different methodologies by using different tools of testing tools, and they would give you, and so they would given finally they would give to the operations team. Operations team would be checking the infrastructure and like how it would be having. If there is any infrastructure impact, then they would be informing to the developers guys this the application is they're having an issue due to the probably to the code. So again they would be checking over here. Yeah, guys, like I would be sharing this session with AWS or DevOps through email to you all. So you can post your email IDs to the email ID, to our email ID, so that we can send you all the sessions, PPT slides. So that's what is DevOps is. Like it's a combination of I can say like it's a software development method that completely having communication, collaboration, and completely collaboration, and like it helps the all software developers and IT guys also to reduce the complexity of work and make them focus to more on the their part. I mean, in their functionalities. Like dev guys can focus on the code, and IT guys can focus on the infrastructure. So these are the basic principles of the DevOps. Like we have to develop and we have to test in the environment first. First we have to test in the test environment, and if everything goes success, then we have to test in the production environment. So we can build the deploys very frequently, and we also have to validate how the operations are functioning continuously. I see a question from Arun Chet with several technologies of cloud computing where you can see in the next 5 years. Arun, basically the cloud computing has already started. If you see in the IT organizations, mostly 60% of the companies are using cloud computing, and there are still the 40% of the people are using the physical setups. But when any disaster happens to the physical setup, then they would be realizing what is the importance of the cloud computing over here, and why should they prefer cloud computing rather than the having the physical setup. So if you see what and all the applications you're getting right now on a day, on whether it might be your Android applications or whether it might be any kind of web services, those all are cloud computing services. So why DevOps? So that's what I have make you clear. Like there are few challenges over here. Like as the customer comes in, they'll give some requirement, and dev and test team will understand in their perspectives, and operation team will understand in their perspectives. And there comes a gap in between dev and test teams and operation team to build that application. And there will be a collapse, and then there would be a misunderstanding in between them also to build that application. Finally, there would be a chances of a failure product or a failure web application. So in order to avoid those kind of circumstances or situations, we have started the concept of this. They have started the concept of this DevOps. So here if you see the how they are overcoming these gaps, you can see the from developers point of view, they have to work with the operations team to understand the impact, and they also have to work closely with the operation team to understand like how production systems works, because if we have a different capacity planning for a production system, and if you have a different capacity planning for your test system, and if there are any kind of issues, if you feel like the application is working on the test environment very well and it is not working on the production environment, then probably you have to understand that the capacity planning is different for both of the things. Any known example of DevOps or similar? Yes, Apurva, I would be giving you in the next slides. I'll show you like what kind of applications comes under DevOps. So we are addressing these delivery challenges. So what are these major delivery challenges are? So I would say that the first is release management, and next comes a release or deployment coordination, and the third one is release or deployment automation. So release management is nothing but while building any application, first you have to do a proper analysis and planning, which is very important. So while building an application, you have to understand like what is the what are the risks you are going to have after building the application, or what are the dependencies you might have, or what are all the compliance issues you may get by building this product. And then later you also have to think about release or deployment coordination. It is nothing but you have to track your all activities in a document manner. If you don't track it in document manner, then it would be very difficult for you. For example, let's say if you have upgraded your application from 1.x to 2.x, so after upgrading the application, the end users complain that few functionalities are not working properly. Then what you need to do over here is you need to track all the changes whatever you are doing, and you also have to maintain all the backups in an efficient manner. So if anything goes wrong after upgrade activity, then probably you'll be having a solution to restore it in a stable and normal state. And the next comes release deployment automation. So here like we are thinking about on all automation is because it reduces your complexity of building your applications or maintaining your infrastructure, as well as by using this automation you don't need to worry about your high-end production environments, where you can give your complete automation code to build your servers as well as to build your applications. You can also feel flexibility and reliability on this. So this is the way like we have addressed delivery challenges. So whenever the customers comes in with requirements, the dev and test teams and operation team will try to test and deploy it, and they will understand the application functionality, and then they would work together. So you might have a question like, what is this DevOps versus what is this release management? So I would say like in understand in according to fill the gaps in between the to understanding the requirements, they have followed the process of designing it, building it, testing it, and prioritizing it. And the two teams are working together by testing and deploying it, where they can understand the complete features of all the functionalities. So this is what happens in your DevOps cycle. Like you will design the code, you will build the code, you will test the code, and you will prioritize it according to the requirement. So this is your continuous integrity and continuous delivery. So what happens in this continuous integration is nothing but you will whatever the changes which you do, you are maintaining it in your shared repository. So why we have to share this repo? Why we have to keep this in shared repositories? For example, if today I'm going to do any changes in the code, and if I do in the local repository, it is nowhere useful. If I do in the shared repository, then it would be committing to the application. So the application code changes will happen over here. So here there are two concepts which we need to understand is continuous integration and continuous delivery. So continuous integration is nothing but it's a kind of development practice that requires the developers to integrate the code into some shared repository several times a day. So whatever the check-ins will happen, it will be verified by an automated build, and it will also allow the teams to detect the problems easily. And we do also have this continuous delivery, where I can say like this continuous delivery is nothing but your let's say like if you want to follow any approach kind of thing, like if you want to any new features comes into the thing, if you want you can use this continuous delivery approach, in which like a team can produce their software in very short cycles. Like for example, you can reliably build, you can reliably test it, and you can release your software very faster and more frequently. So by using this continuous delivery approach, basically you reduce the cost, you reduce the time, you reduce the risk of delivering the changes by allowing for more incremental updates for your application in the production. Yeah, if you're ready, you can see the next slides for the best open source tools for the DevOps. So this answers you for all the questions you have, like what are all the DevOps tools you have want, or what are all the open source tools you have for the DevOps. Like this is the way, like this is the software life development cycle. Like build, we start with plan and then code and build and test and release and deploy and operate and monitor. So you can see the different tools which are related with every design phase. Like code, while coming to the code, like we do, most of the people use the git repository tool, which is also an open source tool. And the Jira Confluence tool, it's nothing but to track all the changes for your code, that and all they'll be using this Jira tool. And build, you can use the Maven and Apache, and most of the people will be using. And for testing purpose, most of the people will use Selenium tool, or they might be using JUnit tools. And for most of the 90% of the organizations, for release and for releasing the code, for upgrading the code for the applications, those and all, they'll be using Jenkins over here. Most of the organizations go for Jenkins is also an open source continuous integration tool. And coming to the deploy, we do have these four automation tools like Ansible, Chef, Puppet, and SaltStack. You can use this as a deploy automation configuration management tools. By having this configuration management tools, I can build many number of servers at a time, how much you want. So it depends, like for example, for Puppet it might be you have to learn DSL language, and for Chef you should have a good knowledge on Ruby, and for Ansible I can say it's an human readable format. So it depends on different tools what we use. So a best combination of a DevOps engineer is like he should be good in one of the coding tool, like for example your Git tool, and for build he should be understanding probably one good tool like Maven or Apache, and then one of the testing tool like your JUnit or SC, and then comes with your release build tool, either it might be your Jenkins or Bamboo. And then coming to the deploy, you can learn one of the configuration management tool, whatever it might be your Chef or Puppet or Ansible. And then coming to the, so what and all we are doing it in a proper manner. Like we are coding, we are planning it, we are coding it, we are building it, testing it, and releasing it and deploying it. So what is the last very important action? That is nothing but your monitoring. If you don't monitor the applications which you build, and if you don't monitor the servers which you built, even through the automation, then it's useless, because unless you monitor it, you don't understand like how much how the application is working, what are the transactions going on, what are the database transactions going on, what is the time consuming transactions, everything, what is the average throughput, what is the average transaction speed, everything you come to know by using these kind of monitoring tools. It's like your Nagios or Splunk or Neuralink, basically. So this is what your development cycle looks like. Basically, when the customer comes in with any use cases, then probably software development team will come into picture, and they start their software check-in by using Git tools or repository tools, and then you'll start your build your software by using tools like Jenkins, and then you try to automate your test scripts, and then you start your deploying your automated deployments, whether it might be you can use your Chef or Jenkins, or I mean you can use a Chef or Puppet or SaltStack or Ansible or anything. Then you will start your monitoring your operations. So this is all about like a basic intro to your DevOps. So like if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach me out to my email ID. You can send your inquiry, you can send your email, any of the thing. You can reach us to this email ID. You can have this noted: inquiry@nintedu.com. Please send all your email IDs to this email ID so that I can answer your questions. So that if you have any questions, I can clarify it in a detailed manner. Please transfer all your questions or all your queries, whatever you have. Do not hesitate to reach us at inquiry@nintedu.com. Please send your email IDs to this, or you can also have this contact number 8939111234 if you want to have a clear discussion on anything. Yep, thanks guys. Thanks for your cooperation. So this was all about the introduction for AWS and DevOps. So I'd like to conclude with this. So I would say like both the AWS web services and DevOps, we have a good in the market. Like it's a having if you contribute towards AWS and if you contribute towards DevOps, then probably you'll be having a better future. And we're also providing certifications assurance for AWS, like AWS certifications or your DevOps certifications. We'd be helping you throughout.
Mandatory certifications doing that certification.
I'm sorry.
Is it mandatory for certification?
It's not that mandatory, but a few of the organizations actually looking out for the certifications. If you go for any high MNC companies, then probably if you see the job description, they are say like they mention it like AWS certified professionals are desired professionals for them.
Is most probably how much cost should be taken for that certifications?
If you prepare it very hardly and if you concentrate completely on it, then it would be like around some 3 months. Then you can make your certification.
That's what I'm asking. How much is the cost for that one?
It's 10,000.
This certificate.
It's 10,000.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for all your
Sorry,
time. Thank you, guys.
sorry. Last question.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you all. Good night.